Today is an important day for the Clark family. After 9 months, Mrs. Clark is finally going to give birth to her daughter. Everyone knows Mr. Clark. He's the most famous judge in the region. After a few hours, the nurse who is delivering the baby comes out to the waiting room and talks to Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark? Yes? What's happening? You may have to see for yourself. What is happening? Well, your daughter seems to be a bit... The nurse begins to explain, taking slow steps back with notable fear towards the man in front of her. Special, she finally says. Mr. Clark began to run towards the room where his wife was. The newborn is a girl with blonde hair like the sun. Mrs. Clark had red hair, while Mr. Clark's was brown. The most surprising thing is that the baby had a pair of terrifying eyes. Her eyes were completely black, with a small singular shine. What is wrong with this girl? Mr. Clark yelled furiously at his wife. Are you sure she's mine? I'm going to request a DNA test. When the results came out, it was confirmed that she was his daughter. The girl grew normally. Her eyes were completely dark, but they didn't show any vision problem. On the contrary, her eyesight seemed better than that of a normal person. Mr. Clark doesn't understand what was happening with his daughter. He always dreamed of the perfect girl. He wasn't willing for anyone to see that monster. He selfishly decided to raise her at home. Mrs. Clark, who depended on the judge for everything, had no choice but to accept. Years later, Dina Angela, the girl with extraordinary eyes, has just turned 13. She's a shy and quiet young lady who doesn't know how to relate. Dina knows that her father is a very famous judge, and the fairest. He always looks for perfection in everything, and Dina is not. With her mother, however, everything was different. Dina is Mom's spoiled girl. She hardly goes outside the precinct of the family mansion. She has short, messy blonde hair, but her mother always brushes it when her father's around. Contrary to him, Dina loves her eyes. They fascinate her. She doesn't have any friends. She used to dream that she was playing with the children in the park, that she could see from her room in the distance. Someone knocks on the door. It's Mom. Dina, I'm going to the mall. Do you want me to get something for you? No, thanks. But daughter, you haven't been eating anything, and you seem so sad. I'm going to bring you something special. Her mother was always spoiling her behind the scenes of her father. Dina really wants to try everything on the outside, but she knows she can't. The perfect Mr. Clark wouldn't let people know that his daughter is a monster. Misha, her twisted nanny who accompanies her since she was born, watches over her at all hours. Every step, every sigh. Dina loves visiting her father's library. Although he doesn't like it, she always manages to slip away to enter. The pure white-colored sword placed in a glass case in the middle of the room is her favorite item. Dina can stand for hours looking at it. According to his mother, there was a legend that the sword originally belonged to a righteous angel, and during a war the sword accidentally fell into the human world and was never found by the angel again. However, since then, different humans in the world began to use it. It is believed that only destined people can handle it. Dina touches the glass case and could almost feel as if she was holding the sword. Suddenly, she heard footsteps approaching. She hid. The door opens. It's Misha. She was looking for her. Her mother has just returned, loaded with bags. Mr. Clark meets her at the front door. What did you buy? He grabs Mrs. Clark's arm when he asks, her bags falling to the floor in shock. Is this for her? I've told you 1,000 times to stop pampering her. Mr. Clark swings his wife's arm. She's very nervous and almost falls. Dina runs to help her mother. Enough! Mr. Clark releases her and leaves. Mom, are you okay? Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm very clumsy today. The truth is that Mrs. Clark can't leave her husband. She loves Dina too much, and she would lose custody if they divorced. Dina walks her mother into the room and lies down on her lap. Mom, do you hate me? My eyes. Of course not. You're my angel after all. Angel. Dina suddenly remembers the sword in the collection room. Mom, do you want to escape? Her mother nods. Let's run away together. They prepare the plan to escape a week later on Christmas Eve. Dina has prepared everything. They just have to wait until nightfall to run away. She's sitting in her room looking out the window. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. It's Mrs. Clark. Run, Dina. Your father knows. Before Dina can react, Mr. Clark pushes Mrs. Clark away and walks in. Damn monster, I'm gonna kill you. They've discovered you. The journalists keep calling. You've let yourself be seen, monster. Mr. Clark throws her aside. Her mother tries to save her. Dina hits her head and passes out. When Dina regains consciousness, she finds herself locked in the basement in a kind of cage. Misha walks in. "Hey, little monster, how does it feel to be there? I knew about your plans to escape, and that's why I sent your photos to the reporters. I hate you since you were born, and your father forced me to watch you in order to avoid being put in jail. I'm sick of this life." Dina was too angry. She felt as if something new came out of her. She grabs Misha's ankle, knocks her off her feet, and drags her with force. Misha yells. Dina stares at the woman. "What you have done cannot escape the eyes of an angel, so now I will announce that you are." Dina chokes Misha even harder and whispers in the woman's ear, "Guilty." Dina laughs hysterically, not believing what she just did, grabs the keys from the deceased Misha's pocket to open the cage, and heads upstairs to the library. She walks over to the crystal box, knocks it over and picks up the glowing sword from the ground. Dina goes to Mr. Clark's office. The time has come. Her father isn't inside, but there's her mother. She looks very bruised. Dina walks over to her mother and holds her. Her mother is no longer breathing. She wipes away her tears and leaves the room in search of her father. "Dad, Daddy, Daddy, where are you?" Mr. Clark is in the kitchen covering his injuries with an ice pack. "What are you doing here? How did you escape?" He's getting more and more nervous. "Monster, you're a monster. You shouldn't have been born. Stay away from me." "How dare you defy an angel, Father? Now I will announce that you are guilty." Dina stabs her father with her sword, ending his life. She no longer has anything left in that house. As she had planned, she runs away, never to return. The era of the righteous angel has just begun, so be careful what you do. You never know when you might become guilty. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you on the next episode.